Hello, welcome to my channel, Come As You Are Vibes. Um, Today, we're going to talk about PTSD, living with being the wife of a husband that had PTSD. The night terrors, flashbacks, being angry, loss of sleep, the pain, resorting to alcohol to numb the pain, the mental condition. This can be seen through a wife living with a spouse. That was me. My husband was suffering with PTSD. He's now deceased. He deceased March 15th of 2015. We had been married for 31 years. Two sons, like I said, Victor and Adrian. PTSD is not only just for military people. You can contact PTSD just from seeing a traumatic experience or going through a traumatic experience, even death. And God knows I've seen and had my share of death experiences. I lost my sister. It's 5 girls and 1 boy. I lost my sister of August, I think it was August 15th of 2020. August 14th of 2020. My sister, actually the cause of death, we're still unsure, but we know that, all of us have these dark, places, and we have someone in our family that everybody have someone in their family or a loved one that has experienced drug addiction. So, but my brother found her asleep in, the bed, went to her apartment, found her asleep in the bed, and she had passed away. They, I think, said the cause of death was a stroke, or whatever. But, we have suffered that loss. So you have to just continue to try to live your daily life. And then plus on top of that, I lost my sister. Actually, 9/25, I was getting myself prepared for surgery. I had been in tremendous pain over the years, popping tons of Tylenol, rub creams. I had a bag full of fluids and drinks and stuff to keep me energized because you're fatigued all the time. Anything that could help me be strong throughout the day to be able to do the job that I was doing, which I was a front office manager, assistant manager for a company, and it required me running, walking around, helping customers, helping the cashiers, doing reports, filing reports, closing, lifting heavy money, counting money, the whole 9 yards, helping assist the store manager. So a lot of that was involved in my daily life. My life has been tremendously changed since then. Also, like I talked about on my one video, avoidance. You avoid people, places, things. I'm sharing and I'm being transparent and sharing my experience, and I'm telling my story and getting it out there to help others that may be experiencing this and that are ashamed of their story, that just would like to hear someone else speak their truth. So some days you have low mood, some days you have sadness, some days you feel edgy, difficult sleeping, remembering things. Just that all involves PTSD. Now, my husband suffered PTSD. I have been back and forth to the doctors, and I'm going to tell you what's just gotten me. All these things that me and my doctor and doctors and groups of doctors that I have to go. My primary care rheumatologist, my knee doctor, just MRIs, scans, injections. I've been through it all. But getting back to the PTSD part, I feel like outside of the military, the symptoms that the military have, the number one symptoms that the military men and women have: night terrors, flashbacks, loss of sleep, resorting to alcohol to numb the pain, resorting to all the medication that the VA and that their doctors put them on, the mental state of their mind daily. Like my husband at night, he would wake up, who's in charge? Who's in charge? And he talked to me one day and he just broke out in tears. The tears, the crying, uncontrollable crying. He just broke out in tears and he was like, would you like to know what I've seen in Bahrain? Because he took a lot of med cruises, which is 6-month cruises within the military. He was in the United States Navy all the time. And he did that to better our family. We came from I came from a poor family. He came from a medium family because his dad was military and they had a little bit more, well, they was a middle class family. When they moved to Griffin, Georgia, everybody thought, oh my God, look at their house. Oh my God, look at this. Oh my God, they're rich. They had the finest clothes. They had the nicest cars. This man, I know when I met him, went through 2-3 Mustangs, nice Mustangs. But, after I experienced all of this, and even up to, like the scripture says in the Bible, up to death do us apart, it was horrible, tormenting. It was, living day-to-day base. At first I was working 12-hour shifts. I was working for Walmart as an assistant manager then, and trying to take care of him. I had a son, Adrian. He was middle school or high school. But he was working a part-time job with Publix and trying to take care of a son, taking care of a husband that's suffering with PTSD is not easy. I went through a lot. It's the thing that got me with it changes that person. Like it says, angriness, flashbacks, not remembering that they've been angry after, they may have a day of, he may have a day or two here and there where when he wasn't angry, drunk, and the heavy drinking came in. He was always a drinker, but the heavy drinking came in when, he couldn't work anymore. When he couldn't work anymore and he was sitting home, they told him, for his best ability that he shouldn't work. And plus he had high blood pressure. That's why, he kind of retired. He would have he loved the military. Military was his life. He would have did 38 years, 40 years if they would have let him. But, he couldn't. So, but when he got out, he worked when he first got out for BAE Systems. And he was smart. He was an electronic technician in the Navy. And he was doing some of the similar things for BAE Systems. His dream job was CDC. My husband got a job with the CDC. He was there probably roughly 2 months, or anywhere from 6 weeks to 2 months. And I saw this man's health decline, just go down tremendously. He had an episode at work where, he just couldn't go back. And then right after that, we had an episode where me and my son, I picked Adrian up from Publix. I had come in from Walmart. I was working 12-hour shifts. So I would go in 8 to 8 or either 10 to 10. And the 10 to 10 a.m. to 10 p.m., I would pick up Adrian and we would get home and we push the door and I know that particular day I hadn't heard from him too much. He had called like early that morning, and he would call a little bit throughout the day. But probably about 2-3 hours before I was going to get off, I hadn't heard from him. We get home. Victor's laying at the bottom of the steps. We had, mind you, about 15 stairs going up to our master bedroom. He was at the bottom of the stairs. Man, we thought he was dead then. But he had fell down the steps. He had took lisinopril that the VA had given him, a very high dose that he shouldn't have been taking. His lips, lisinopril will make your lips swell. It's all kind of side effects that it will do, but his particular ones was the lip swelling and the coughing, that constant strenuous cough. So, he had took that and maybe drunk some alcohol and passed out, fell down the steps, trying to go from, because we had our master bedroom, you cross over to our theater room. And my life since then have tremendously changed because, I went from 3 checks plus my check, 4 checks in a household, working, having anything I would want and desire. My money was for leisure, traveling, my nice car if I chose. All this down to nothing when my husband passed away. I was in shock when I saw the paper came in the mail for about my annuity payment. I was shocked. So everything that I've experienced in my life with PTSD, dealing with it, being a wife of a husband that had PTSD, and then going into having a meniscus tear surgery. Went down at Walmart. I had a meniscus tear surgery. At that time, I was, like I said, assistant store manager. I was paid leave of absence. I had 12 weeks leave of absence. And I went to physical therapy. I did good with that meniscus tear. I was able to go back to work. But I think what messed me up with that meniscus tear is, all that pulling and all that which I should have filed a claim for, but working for them and messing the part up again, messing the surgery up that I had. So I went on, I kept working, I went on back to work, kept working. I worked I think I retired or left Walmart 2011 because of Victor's illness and him being sick and dealing with him for, I love this water, life water. Dealing with him for 2011 to 2015, I took care of him to, like you said, till he deceased. But that is a tremendous problem with the military. It's not only with the military. It's been a study and a case of people that have breast cancer within 6 months are diagnosed with PTSD. Like I said, those low moods, that feeling of sadness, I experienced that now after my surgery. The difficult in sleeping, the night sweats, getting up all night, having to rest, ice, and pills. Like I said, the 3 things, rest, ice, and pills are the 3 things that I have had to deal with since my total knee replacement, my TKR, since 9/25 of 20, and then they had to go back in on February 2nd of 2021. My lifestyle has been totally changed. I cannot go anywhere without my cane. I cannot, like right now I'm sitting, I chose to, start doing a business page and live YouTube, to put my story and the awareness out there of PTSD, chronic pain, and living life after surgery, to make people be aware, not just what they hear the doctors say and the professionals say, but to have a true life story, a person that's here. But yeah, I went through a lot of struggles, with my husband dealing with PTSD. They're not the same person. And if I knew what I knew now, it made me upset a lot. And after I had, he passed away and stuff, I started studying. And, you get the guilt of, oh, I should have done this better and that better. Because, now I know that it wasn't him. So, I'm just thankful that I made it through. I've kept going throughout the years, and there's been a lot of setbacks. There's been a lot of great things, but by the grace of God, I have maintained. I am still here. I'm appreciative of that. Mental awareness, please, people. If you have a family member, if you have a loved one, if you have a friend, if you know somebody that has a friend or a friend of a friend that is suffering through these types of things that I mentioned in this video, night terrors, flashbacks, angriness, the pain, resorting to alcohol or drugs to numb the pain. My husband was alcohol. It was horrible. Hiding of the alcohol. He turned into a person that I've never seen before. Hiding of alcohol. Resorting to, if I took the keys, he got 2 DUIs throughout this experience. I'm telling my life story. This is my story. This is what I went through. Just, angriness. I was never too scared in the house, but I started having to watch myself, but he would worry you to death if he couldn't have that alcohol. And he broke down in tears and told me why. He was like, it helps with the pain. And then, when you think it's helping with the pain, then the addiction sets in. And then you gotta have it. Your body feeds on it. You got to have the alcohol to go through 24 hours in a day. It's no more, I'm just doing it because, he was suffering with PTSD, but it's now I gotta have it. My body has to have it. You're gonna go through the withdrawals and the DTs and all these other things that you will go through. Oh, my knee is hurting right now. But all the things that you will go through, if you don't get it. So, I went through all of that, and I thank God that I'm a strong woman, that I was able to make it through. But I'm just here to make everyone aware of, the PTSD. And I have more videos that are coming. Come as you are vibes, about me now living with life after surgery, medication. I'm coming with a lot of info and a lot of truthness, my truth about dealing with life after surgery. After a lot of surgeries, 3 surgeries on the same knee, and then having arthritis, different stuff that you just contract when you go through that, those many surgeries and everything. But I just appreciate and I thank, and I try to keep a smile on my face even in the pain, through the pain, during the pain. I appreciate, everyone that's going to subscribe and like my YouTube channel, that can relate to my story, my pain, my truth, my life. Thank you again. All right, bye. Have a great day.